WildC.A.T.s issue 4, Matthew Rosenberg with Steven Segovia. Matt, you read this, so
yeah. So this jumps around a lot, and this is, I guess, it was just Rosenberg style. Is that we left with Grifter falling out of the helicopter into enemy territory during the Civil War, where they were getting the diplomats kit out, and as he's on the ground, he starts fighting back, guerrilla tactic style against these. He calls them ethnic cleansers, but I'm not sure that's what it is. Whatever's going on in the Civil War in this unnamed country, and he's, doing his best to take them out, like best he can without getting the people around him involved. And so he starts to question about all of this, because he's like, yeah, I just saved that guy, but who knows what he was up to before, that led to the Civil War, right? And it's kind of like this, Grifter's morals are kind of loose and all over the place, you
don't say.
Yeah, right. And it just reinforces that, like, he's trying to find justification for not helping. It's like he's at odds with this heroic part of himself. What's her name? Zealot and Fairchild go to Marlowe to try to get Grifter back, and Marlowe's security robots stop. We find out there's more than one of them, and they're all identical. Stop them from talking to Marlowe, because Marlowe has this meeting with this very important artist that he's trying to bring over to the company, and Zealot's is like, well, that's fine, then just let us talk to the Void. We'll have Void bring him back. And he's like, I can't let you do that. And Zealot still goes and tries trying to get to Void to get him back. As they're going through this, Grifter's getting into more and more trouble, where as he's fighting this country, ninjas show up, and he's like, oh, just the last thing I need. So in the course of this book, now we've had Court of Owls, and now we have League of Assassins ninjas, and Angel Breaker from what was that, the Batman Deathstroke crossover, Shadow War, yeah. Angel Breaker.
I recognized the name when you said it, but I was trying to think, and I'm like, yeah, what the hell was that name in?
Yeah, and he recognizes Angel Breaker. He goes, oh, so that means, he goes, you might try to be Talia, but you'll never be Talia. That was your boss's daughter. And so it shows that he has some familiarity with the League, and they have him dead to rights, and he's just talking about in his inner monologue that he doesn't know how to not fight. He's always going to be at the opposite end of this. And he knows exactly what he needs to do to get out of this. It cuts back over to Zealot and Fairchild, who find the machine. I forget what her name is, but she's the half machine girl. And looks like she's about to start things with two of the security robots from Marlowe. And says, hey, you need to get us in touch with Marlowe, because if we need to know where he is, we need to get Cole back, if it's the last thing I do. So they find out that he's at this, from her, they find out that he's at this like gala event with all this art. And I'm thinking this is leading to another WildC.A.T.s character I'm kind of familiar with, just because of the green hair. But Marlowe's there to meet with this artist, and he's talking over about his artistic style, and it's, I can see it's from this. And he's got green hair, and he looks like the Warblade. I think his name's Warblade. He's basically, not Wolverine, where he had the metal claws and whatever. But this artist has this green hair, and Zealot and Fairchild come in, and Marlowe's pissed, and he's like, well, no, you're not getting him out. It's, we don't. That's not how we do. We fired him. It was his own choice to go back in there. And then they get a call from Halo Corporation, and they're like, oh, you don't have to worry about Cole anymore, because he just came back, and it's his dead body. And that's where the issue leaves off. Is it seems like Grifter's dead, and I'm wondering how the seemingly star of this book is gonna be able to come back. Although this is not, I feel like this is not, despite the shock on Zealot's face, this might not be the first time Grifter's died. Because it seems like he's that expendable to Marlowe that maybe they have some, I don't want to call it a resurrection machine or whatever, or even Lazarus stuff, but it seems like there's some kind of Halo company, scheme at work. We also, in all of this, got a conversation between Zealot and Fairchild that they don't like the idea that this other team gets all the glory for them doing the dirty work, and I think his name is Majestic, the Superman-like character. Someone asks him how his powers work, and he says, "Oh, I'm Kryptonian." He doesn't say he's Kryptonian, but he says, "Oh, I get solar radiation like that Kryptonian Superman." And then I guess he gets into trouble. One of the handlers talks to him, like, you're not supposed to be telling Pete stuff about you. So it seems like it's all this smoke and mirrors, but yeah, it's fine. It's just it's sometimes hard to keep up with the pace of the book, because I believe the last issue ended with him falling out of the helicopter. This one picks up immediately with him fighting through this Cold War, or the Civil War, in this unnamed country. But yeah, it's I like what it's doing with Zealot, as she's almost not the main character, but we're seeing her. She's almost like the moral compass of this book, because even though she's this centuries old warrior, she seems to have her heart in the right spot. Even though Cole Carter, is it Carter? Gosh, I can't remember. Even though Grifter is this morally ambiguous, assassin for hire, she cares about him, and as a friend and compatriot. So the art by Segovia is just so on point. All the action sequences are really well drawn. The expressions, like when Zealot catches the machine lady with the robots, the expressions are very funny. And even just the body language of the robots, she's like, "Oh, I was gonna erase their memories after this anyway, so it's like it never happened." And they go, "You did what?" She's like, "Don't act like this is the first time." And just the confusion on the robot's face are very funny. Or I should say android's face, because they are human looking. But yeah, solid. Not must read, but that's good. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.